The Demons List has just come out with a tweet that has easily changed Geometry Dash forever. Based on player feedback, poll results, and discussion amongst our staff, we have made the decision to allow the use of click between frames for all Demon List records, effective immediately. Click between frames, or as you'll find commonly referred to in this video as CBF, is a mod that you can find on Geode. As it stands for Vanilla Geometry Dash, your inputs are linked to the frames per second that you play the game on.
Another thing is that the game currently can only pull your input once per frame, meaning if you go lower than 240 FPS, your position suffers as well, with 60 FPS being notoriously more difficult to play with.
Although as the years go by, it's been a consistent trend to push Geometry Dash to its absolute limit, and what pro players have found out is that 240 is not helping them at all. So what click between frames does is lives up to its name. Instead of waiting the potential 1 to 3 millisecond window between frames, what you can find is that your input is registered automatically. So when it comes to these top 1 levels, such as most importantly Grief, which is getting verified using click between frames, these ridiculous wave sections, although aren't easy, are possible thanks to click between frames. Now, as we take a look back at the Demons List Twitter, they've come out with some interesting statistics based on the opinions when it comes to click between frames. Here's a pie chart based on 5,351 responses, saying yes to allow CBF or saying no, don't allow CBF. As a whole, 86.6% said yes to allowing click between frames. Therefore, 13.4% opted no to click between frames. Although if we take a look, there's another poll. 879 of those responses are by players with list points. Just for a quick recap, list points are a direct result in a player completing a demon that is in the top 150, or aka the main list, on Point Create Demon List. By completing the 150th rated level, you get 10 points, and by beating the number 1, right now that would be Tidal Wave, you receive 250 points. Now that you're all caught up on why these players' opinions are valued more so than the average player, looking at the statistics, 20.4%, so more than 1 in 5 of these professional players said no to click between frames. Now you're going to want to keep on watching this video because near the end of it, I'm going to explain to you why these pro players might have voted against click between frames, although we still have a Twitter thread to read, which you're not going to want to miss out on. The Demons List also mentions how although mobile players will be at now more of a disadvantage than they already were.
Hey Trent, you want some ice cream?
Because CBF isn't allowed on mobile yet, the Demons List has completely disregarded this as an argument due to mobile already being at such a significant disadvantage. The Demons List also makes mention of physics bypass, which if you don't know how that works for update 2.2, is it basically reverts RobTop's idea of FPS unlock for vanilla Geometry Dash. For the untrained ear, you may believe that that's counterintuitive. 2.1 lasted for so long that players got so used to their gameplay being locked to the FPS that they may as well have just kept it that way. The Demons List originally allowed physics bypass to ensure that players didn't have to switch back to Geometry Dash 2.1 and that everyone was on the same playing field when it came to the actual version of Geometry Dash that they were playing on. The Demons List have actually come out and said no to physics bypass altogether now that they're implementing CBF. Now the Demons List's justification of removing physics bypass is that they believe that CBF provides equal or greater benefits than physics bypass while remaining closer in physics to the vanilla game than any other mod. Now surprisingly enough, they actually make an argument on why physics bypass is better than click between frames, although it's short-lived, being only an increase of tick rate. An increase in tick rate can make the game appear more smoothly on certain monitors. Quote, "The legalization of CBF renders physics bypass largely useless. Thus, due to the controversy surrounding physics bypass, we have decided to disallow it moving forward. If a future mod is able to rectify visual smoothness without affecting how the game plays, we will likely allow it. Now earlier, I mentioned that I was going to give you some reasons on why professionals might be against click between frames, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. CBF could allow for timings that are currently not possible without it. Now, depending on the perspective of the player, this could either be a major net positive or net negative, depending on how you value vanilla Geometry Dash. Let's once again take a look at Grief, the theoretical #1 level if it were to be verified. Person A will look at Doggy's inevitable verification of Grief with an applause, saying that it's an incredible accomplishment for not only Doggy individually, although for Geometry Dash as a whole. Now, person B may be dissatisfied with Doggy's verification or any verifications moving forward with CBF, making the argument that the level is not possible without it. And it doesn't stop there. Looking at the Demons List thread, it states, if CBF verifications aren't being rated, aren't verifiers at a disadvantage. Yep, you heard that right. As of making this video, if a level were to be verified using CBF, the level will not be rated by RobTop. This means if Doggy were to verify Grief, yes, it would be at the #1 spot on Point Create Demon List. Although with that said, is what I even just told you true? The demon list helps us answer that question, stating, though placing rated demons has been a staple of the demon list since its inception, an alternate system of ranking unrated levels isn't out of the question. However, this would require a significant amount of time, effort, and community outreach to consider. So not only has Doggy's risk of verifying Grief using Geode's click between frames resulted in the level never being rated, Doggy now finds himself in a very unique situation where his verification of Grief using Geode's click between frames can result in a whole new list. Safe to say, things are getting crazy. Now, I've been doing something in this video that by now you would have noticed, and that's specifying Geode before I mention click between frames. RobTop, while this video was in production, came out saying that he was going to try and make his own cross-platform click between frames. This therefore means that a RobTop click between frames completion or verification can be on the leaderboard, the level can get verified, and it's deemed as a legitimate completion. Although as it stands, RobTop is telling us not to get our hopes up. So if we rewind to near the beginning of this Twitter thread via the Demons List, do you now believe it's justified for more than 1 in 5 of 879 professionals to say no to CBF? The community is quite confused because we don't know how this will look for the future of Geometry Dash as a whole. RobTop also doubles down on what I previously mentioned with levels that get verified using CBF not getting rated. RobTop then reiterates that he has nothing to do with the Demons List, and then he ends off his series of announcements and responses by claiming that 2.207 is going to come out in the next few days.